got this dude off of the highway. So everybody says not to touch it, one of the desert tortoises, but yeah, when they're about to get run over, I'd rather see them with the opportunity to live than to possibly urinate. By the way, it didn't urinate. I've never seen one do that. And I've yet to get salmonella. But now that he's off the road, got the opportunity to keep on moving. I hope he doesn't turn around and go back towards the road. Pretty good camouflage. Off on another adventure. It is hot. I'm in Death Valley on the West Side Road. It's at 11:30 in the morning and 97 degrees out. I say morning because noon-ish. On West Side Road, Warm Springs, Geologist Cabin, Mengel Pass, Goler Wash. We'll see how much ground I can cover today. This has been really smooth so far compared to normal. Well, it's recently been graded, but I need to let some air out of the tires here soon so I can maintain a good pace and not shake this Jeep to bits. I'm checking out some new spots to me in Death Valley. So I broke off of the road to Warm Springs. Lighting up here. And I'll be damned if it isn't windy again. Every time I've got a camera, it's windy. But I almost went down this road right here. Only condition. And if it goes anywhere at the bottom, I decided not to. But yeah, all pretty steep. That flood carved canyon looks super smooth. So it's tempting, but in a place without signal and without good maps, I'm going to stick to the known routes. I'm going to head back over the hill, jump back onto Warm Springs, and then continue over the mountain. And I sort of have a goal. I am trying to get back up to 9 Mile Canyon Road to Kennedy Meadows. I was up there a few days ago, and You could drive through quite a bit, but the vehicle I was in, I could not get too far. So here's to see what I can do today with the Rubicon. This stuff is super jagged, but no problem so far with this thing. This is why it's fun to off-road in Death Valley. Yeah, it's nice to go down a trail, but the scenery is just so massive out here. If you've ever looked at a trail going off of a main road, you know, this is that to the extreme. Look at this. So this is the Butte Valley. The geologist cabin is right there. And then the Butte Valley Mesa Formation. It's just so expansive. And then looking over here, if it'll, oh, trying to focus in on the bugs here. But that is Mangle Pass. And I did the van, or the video with the van a couple of summers ago. And that was where we went through. I'm by myself, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do any decent videoing. But we'll see what we can do when we get over there. Alright, the beautiful view over to the Butte Valley Mesa. And look who's down here. That's because of the spring right here and all of the grass. All sorts of birds up here. The video I did about almost 2 summers ago. We went to the cabins. But the road starting to get interesting for Mengel Pass. And then Goler Wash is the one that's more, it's got the dry falls, the waterfalls, so we'll see what that looks like. I might be stacking rocks to get off of that. But I just spoke to a lady that's over at the geologist cabin, and she said that their Toyota Tacoma couldn't make it, but I guess it's not lifted. Maybe it doesn't have lockers. But here we go. Time to go into low range. I'll get off-road active, sway bar. It's about to get real in Death Valley. By the way, Jeep's got the stupidest mirror. I cannot get this thing out far enough to be useful. Might as well be in. Good job, Jeep. I've actually found that on multiple versions of this. These that I've rented. Impressed. The insane part is my van did this. And I'm always saying how impressive the van is off-road. Here I am in a Rubicon doing this, and I'm impressed by the road. I've got four-wheel drive, locking front and rear diffs, disconnecting sway bar. My van is just so tall. And then once it gets back from the shop, getting the axle rebuilt, it's getting an actual locking diff. But it's so tall, it just walks over all this stuff with ease. You can see where people have stacked a lot of rocks to get through this stuff. I feel like it was all a lot faster in the van too. It's 82 degrees. Temperature is gotten a little better. Must be at altitude. I'll start filming again on the interesting parts. Oh! Even this lizard is looking at me like, you crazy ass. Oh, look at this. This is definitely looking worse than when I did it last time with the van. That is, man, boulder field. Somebody left some firewood. I can't even walk on it. There's a lizard still like, you crazy bastard. Look at this. It's like a chute here. And I'm pretty confident about the, from here on up, but man, I do not know how I did this with the van. Or it's just that much worse now. Looks like there are more boulders in here. But this is a stock Jeep Rubicon 4-door. I'm not even aired down that much. Like 30 PSI from 37 just to try to keep the clearance. Boulder field. But all decomposed granite. Alright, Mengel Pass. Conquered. Way out there. It's the Butte Valley Road. One other major task is going to be getting through Goler Wash and the dry falls. Going down the chute. This is right near the turnoff to the Barker Ranch where Charles Manson was apprehended. Spent the rest of his days in prison. So I am getting closer to Goler Wash. That's the only other part that I'm worried about on this little off-road mission. I'm still just kind of beside myself that my van made it through this route. I haven't had it for like a month now. So I'm losing the sense of how good it is off-road. I feel like Mengel Pass would have that thing flipped on its side because it's now taller than it's ever been before, so center of gravity might be an issue. I've got no desire today to go to the Barker Ranch, so my mission is to get through here as quick as possible. I wanted to see how fast I could get through here. I've been hitting the slow going parts. I don't know, probably for the last 45 minutes. I haven't been watching the clock, but I can go back and check the timestamps on the video later. Alright, turn off to the Barker Ranch. Down there, but I think you can go further down the hill too. Got more off-roaders ahead. Yesterday, when I did Middle Park Road, I was in a section like this with a lot of running water and a lot of vegetation and a lot of mosquitoes. That was not fun. This is looking pretty gnarly through here. tilted up pretty well. Get around this boulder. And a stock two-door Bronco with the best off-road package. I think that would be the ticket for doing all of this stuff. Not a Raptor though. Wouldn't want to have it be wide. Yeah, such cool geology out here. It's been a moment since I was recording, and look at the change in the geology. I don't even know if this is still considered Death Valley National Park or not, because in the southern part of the Panamint Mountain Range, you get into BLM land. So this may be outside of the park boundary. But I've now seen two groups coming up the canyon. It is Wednesday, I think. Yeah, Wednesday. And beginning of next week, it's going to start to cool down a little bit, possibly by about 25 degrees. That's when I would come out, personally. Not right now, and it's pretty warm. Although when we did this route with the van, it was June of 24. And it was fairly warm in here. Right now it's 86. I bet it was probably at least the same. But for some odd reason it felt cooler. Or my memory is saying it was cooler. Years ago when I had my two-door Rubicon, we checked out all of this stuff and went all the way up to the top, looking out, I think, into the bottom of the Panamint Valley. Pretty cool view up there, but I am on a mission. I'm not going to do that. Cabin right there. I've probably already been to it. Kind of sad when you've done so much stuff that you can't remember all of it. Part of an ore car tram setup. Look at that rock with all of the embedded. Can't even tell what it is. It's like quartz almost. We stopped and checked out that little adit when we did this a couple of years ago. This is way better than what I made these today. That's super cool just because of the amount of green that's in there. Yeah, that was one of my favorite sections last time, or probably every time that I've done this, is just seeing the green. It's really neat. Yeah, this whole part right here. Should put it in 4 low for this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that. With the little off-road plus mode, or off-road mode. Oh. I think maybe that's missing something. Chevy Rock and Crunch. Oh, I've been in neutral. These are the dry fall sections of Goler Wash. Oh, fucking Jeep. This thing is. The roof is too damn short, so you can't see shit out of it, and you bang your head on it as it's rocking back and forth. Do a quick look. Alright, that looks easy. Take a look at the bottom section. That's all nice and stacked up. That's easy. Alright, we'll keep moving. I made it. Back to two-wheel drive. Start covering some ground. Maybe you're lucky and see some fighter jets ripping through. And I am at the top of a mountain with a very steep drop off. Somehow is a road. Some lighting here. Looks like some lighting over there. But without going all the way to the bottom, I will not be proceeding. So I'm going to turn around and head back down another way. Just a bunch of jackasses hanging out. I like how this one is resting its head on the other one. Beautiful home they have out here. What do you think about this scenery? Now these are very common rock formations around here. Alabama Hills is the same thing. You've got them on Route 66, just east of Kingman. So it's granite. It's looking like my road disappeared here. Oh, a lot of flowers out. I guess I'm turning around and heading back out of here. I've hit so many different terrains in one day. Gotta give it to the Jeep. It's carried me through everything so far. Trees are amazing. Bugs are, unfortunately, waking up. I'm gonna go blast through some snow. Start heading back home. All right, this is pretty sick. So, got the sun going down. I'm on this winding dirt road. Apparently this will end up out at Lake Isabella. That looks like the road out in the distance. So hopefully it's open all the way. It would suck to have to backtrack this, especially since I'm sort of on my way back home, back to Vegas. Washout sunk. It is getting cold out. I've got the heat cranked all the way up in the Jeep. My hand is freezing. It's 56 degrees outside. After being at about 100 earlier in Death Valley. Man, talk about a change. I have no idea what time I'll be getting home tonight. This looks amazing. There's campsites. These KO2 tires on this nice hard pack. Sounds like a fighter jet flying through. Man, they got places to cook. I guess this is one way. And there's a creek down below. More camp spots. I've never been down here before, but I've been by Kennedy Meadows multiple times. And I think I'm in love. It's such a cool spot. Of course, if they, oh man, there's a really bad rutted out trail. If they get a lot of bugs, I know they will in the summertime. Might not be in love then. Right now, it's still too early in the season to have anything. Man, I hope this gets the heck out of here soon. I don't feel like it's making a loop. This might be the turnaround. Holy shit. Throw this. Oh, I'm in four-wheel drive. Water crossing. Oh, shit. How's that for a piece of property? I love this mountain range. All right, this is awesome. Look at this road. Switch backing up the mountain. Guess I can try and record it going down. See what it looks like. That might have been the chimney rock. The view out here. This is freaking gorgeous. Got rabbits running around. I don't know if I've ever seen a little tiny dark brown rabbit. I like this boulder formation though. Definitely tell that I would not be the first one to climb around on this. I've been getting so much seat time. Need to get out and move. Yeah, think of what an earthquake could do with this. So funny, I can hear somebody's dogs barking. Maybe down from here. God, they're probably a mile away. I don't know why I'm whispering. There's nobody out here. Oh. I ran into one guy at a campground. Someone wrote some bullshit there. I ran into one guy at a campground. Ah, sweet. Look at that natural stuff that broke off. Hey, look at that ray. Looks like Venus up there, maybe. Just touched a live rattlesnake. Woo. kind of cold out, so not really active. Let me touch his tail twice. Pretty cool. Almost ran it over. Blasting down dirt road at night.